Over 30 million Americans will have a bill coming due in about 2 months. Do they pay the student loan debt, or do they keep up with their car payments? People will see their wages garnished. Even Social Security checks get garnished.
Let's maybe think of the movie The Gremlins, right? For some folks, it's never enough, and that includes these ultra-progressives, the Democratic Socialists. They can never get enough in these bills. There's never enough money there. Now, you have to also remember the 3 rules of the Mogwai, the little cute creatures from the 1980s movie. They were irresistible, right? But the rules are important here. Rule number 1, don't put them near light, especially sunlight. And by sunlight, in this analogy, we mean the truth, because progressives can't seem to handle it. They often get triggered. Rule number 2, don't let the Mogwai get wet, and don't give them any water to drink. The water, in this metaphor, is the millions of campaign funds raised by progressives like AOC, while at the same time they cry about the influence of money in politics. They say it's not fair. Now, Politico recently reported that AOC's campaign largesse and an oversight at campaign headquarters has raised some awkward questions among her colleagues, which brings us to the final rule here for Gremlins. No matter how much the Mogwai cries, no matter how much it begs, never feed it after midnight, because once you do, you can't stop their appetite. And that's when these cute little creatures turn into swamp monsters. Don't forget, Joe Biden, talking about student loan debt, has already canceled more than $40 billion worth of student loan debt. But again, that's not enough for AOC and Elizabeth Warren and the rest. But why? Well, that's because progressives seem to take their lead from people like actress Susan Sarandon. She recently protested outside of AOC's office in the Bronx.
To the squad, and especially AOC, who, did make a lot of promises, that we still have faith in you, and we would like to see if you have a better plan than we've been able to see, please share it. If there's a pathway that you've got that we're not aware of, please share it, because we're losing hope here that you represent us.
Just off camera was a Free Palestine protester who you couldn't see there. Joining us to talk more about this is the host of the Rubin Report, Dave Rubin. He's also the author of Don't Burn This Book, Thinking for Yourself in an Age of Unreason. And we got some news on the book front, which we'll talk about in a moment. But first, Dave, Susan Sarandon, she might as well be Speaker of the House, I guess.
John, as you know, after my show tomorrow, I'm going off the grid for all of August. No phone, no TV, no news, no guest appearances with John Bachman here on Newsmax. I do this every August for the last 5 years. And part of the reason I do it is because I have come to absolutely hate these people. They are all absolutely awful. They can't solve any of their own problems, and yet they want to solve all of our problems. The whole thing with the bill here, it's like they don't believe in basic economics. So whether it's 3.4 trillion or 1.7 trillion, they don't believe in inflation. They believe you can just endlessly print money. It's very bizarre, actually, that they want to endlessly tax people, because in a world where you can just keep printing money, taxation only seems like punishment. So it's really about punishing successful people more than having anything to do with funding things you want, because they just print and print and print. I mean, they're all just ridiculous. That being said, I am quite enjoying watching this little rift between Sinema and the squad, because it's like, yeah, all right, now you guys can all just call each other racist. And it's a little early for me to have popcorn in the studio, but I'll just get some popcorn and watch.
I can smell it from here, the popcorn. And what you're talking about is this modern monetary theory that some of these Democratic socialists believe in, that there is no limit to the amount of money we can print. Deficits and debts don't matter anymore. And that's what they believe. And that's why, and again, $40 billion, that's not a little bit of money. And Joe Biden has already forgiven that amount of student loan debt. But, you can tell where the real power of the Democratic Party is, and it's with the progressive left.
John, correct me if I'm wrong, but when the founders set up the country, I believe it was George Washington who said that if you are an upper middle class child who goes to Syracuse and racks up 65 grand in debt a year for 4 years, a couple $100 grand for your degree in lesbian badminton, that the government should write it off, right? Was that George? It was maybe Thomas Jefferson. I'll have to check. Yeah,
I believe it was. To be clear, I think it was Alexander Hamilton. But I don't want to debate you on that, because I want to also talk about Joe Biden's Freudian slip. His own words yesterday. Take a listen.
Back in 2009, during the so-called Great Recession, the president asked me to be in charge of managing that piece than President Trump. Excuse me, Freudian slip. That was the last president. He caused, anyway, that was President Obama when I was vice president.
So, the Freudian slip is an interesting reference here, and I think this is actually a moment of clarity for President Biden, because what he's saying there is President Trump is my daddy, right? Basically, isn't that what he's saying?
I mean, look, relative to the Biden gaffes that we see virtually every day, that one's not even that terrible. I mean, just the other day, there was another one where he out of nowhere said that he used to drive an 18-wheel truck. Like, that's just not true. It's not true unless he thinks he's working with Optimus Prime on the side. I mean, what is this guy talking about? But look, the gaffes are just going to keep coming. We all know something's wrong with him. Everyone knows it, and except for a couple people online and you guys at Newsmax and a few other people, mainstream refuses to talk about it. So as I've said from the beginning with this thing, the conspiracy is the non-conspiracy, right? Like the fact that nobody's allowed to talk about it, because at some point they are going to remove him. My guess, if I had to take do one prediction for something that could happen while I'm off the grid, it's that it's going to be Barack Obama, believe it or not. It'll be Barack Obama on an interview who will suddenly just off the cuff say something like, oh, maybe Joe's lost a step or something like that. And then suddenly that will be the airlock for the mainstream media to start asking questions, much like Jon Stewart when he went on Stephen Colbert.
Yes.
He said that the Wuhan lab leak, and then suddenly everyone started saying the thing that we've all been saying for a year and a half. So that's how mainstream media operates. They wait until one of their anointed sons says something, and then they all pretend that they've known it the whole time, and that the rest of us who are just conspiracy theorists all the time, that really were conspiracy theorists and far-right maniacs.
Right. It's not true until someone they approve of says it's true. So, all right, Dave, you got a minute left. Quite a tease. Don't Burn This Book, one of my favorites of the last few years here, but you got some news for us? Tell us about it.
My new book is dropping tomorrow for pre-sale. It won't be out till April, but I've been working on it for about a year now. It's a follow-up to Don't Burn This Book. I can't, John, I want to give you, if I wanted to give anybody the exclusive, it would be you on the title, but we're going to announce the title on my show tomorrow for pre-sale. I'm going to be signing numbered copies. No matter how many we sell tomorrow, I will sign them all. And then I disappear for a month, and I'm going off the grid, and it's one of the ways that I stay sane doing what we do, because as you know, being in the endless news cycle, it's tough for the average person to figure out what to consume and how not to go crazy, but it can also be tough on us. So I take it as a little sabbatical every year to just kind of refresh, reset, and then come to the news in the fall with fresh eyes. And you know what? No matter what happens in August, the world will keep going. I'll be back. It'll be all right.
A little bit of humility helps everyone here, and I am jealous, intensely jealous that you can take the whole month of August off. Us news guys don't get that luxury, just a week at a time. I just came back from vacation, but I'm feeling good. Dave, have fun.
You're a pro, though. Look at you with your tie, and you're a pro.
Yeah.
Look at me. I look like a schlub
Well,
here.
have fun, be safe. Look forward to seeing you in about a month or so, and we'll talk then. Can't wait to get the book either, the new one.
Thanks, my friend.
If you're looking for more honest and thoughtful conversations about politics instead of nonstop yelling, check out our politics playlist. And if you want to watch full interviews on a variety of topics, watch our full episode playlist all right over here. And to get notified of all future videos, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.